Right. And I almost wonder, and I appreciate you so much in breaking that down because do people, I guess there's such a big reason to have that mastery or at least know a little bit more about what you're hiring for so that you know who to hire because I feel like there's sometimes especially in this day and age on one end we can use like these AI tools to be able to say to look for a specific person, fill out job descriptions, things like that, but on the other end there's people that are answering that know and maybe are also using AI to be able to answer those questions, but I feel like a person that has spent time or at least has exposure, or at least knows and can speak to that specific position has a better insight on what they should be doing, how they should be answering, or if they're kind of blowing smoke, so to speak.
Yeah, exactly. You have to be able to, be able to inspect that the quality of the individual or the alignment or their ability to some degree or another. And that can be difficult. And sometimes there's roles that you maybe have not done. And if you do go branch off into a situation like that where you have not, say done marketing for your business before, but you want to hire a marketer. And so therefore, very little about marketing. Obviously tools like, ChatGPT and AI, all of these things help. But defining what good or the outcome is, I mean, that I could probably do. And then I can begin to interview for that outcome. And I can say, Gresham, like, tell me when you've increased, web traffic from 1,000 site visitors to 10,000 site visitors.
Mm-hmm.
How did you do that, right? Or maybe I'll find out that you've never done that. And it's like, well, my goal is 10,000 site visitors and you've never done it. So why should I believe you can do it? For me, right? Example. Interviewing people, lots of people, especially when the role is unique to you. Like, again, you don't have a lot of experience with that role. So you might have a unclear idea what your ideal candidate actually looks like. One of the benefits of interviewing 10,000 people is because I've become fairly proficient in lots of different jobs and roles and industries, because a good interview is really just asking somebody to share their career experience in its entirety with focus on the area of interest, like say marketing or sales or whatever the role is, and taking a deep dive into that person's experience. And when you do that, they're going to be teaching you about what it's like to be a great salesperson, how they achieved great sales performance, how they achieved great marketing results, right? And the answer to like what they achieved is, what are your most significant accomplishments? So that's one of the top interview questions I recommend. So, Gresham, what's your most significant achievement, right? Or in that role, what was your most significant achievement, right? And then the question is, okay, you drove $1 million in new business revenue. Oh, amazing. That sounds awesome. Right. Whatever, however I feel about that top line result. But then the question is, well, how did you do that? Well, guess what? I'm learning but I'm also inspecting, and I also get to then run it through the sniff test. And if you can't really explain it to me very well, then I don't believe you.
Right.
Right. Or if you really are proficient at this, you should be able to really break this down and explain it to me quite clearly, how you step by step, how you got there, who else was involved, what was the time frame, when did this happen, right? Why did it matter, or what was how did it relate to expectations? Generated $1 million in revenue, but the expectation was 10 million. Well, now that changes the perception quite a bit, right? Of your accomplishment. So I think that's a hack for when you lack expertise in a particular area that you want to hire for. The last little piece to that is be prepared to fail.